Why did South Korea transform from one of the world's poorest nations to a technology powerhouse in just 50 years? The answer centers on strategic focus and sustained investment in education. In the early 1950s, right after the Korean War, South Korea ranked among the world's poorest nations. By 2023, South Korea's GDP per capita reached roughly $33,000. The country joined the ranks of developed nations. How was this possible? This slide explains everything. The government selectively supported companies and industries based on performance metrics like export results, policy finance, tax incentives, regulations. Major conglomerates grew rapidly, forming what became known as the Big Five chaebols. In the 1960s, the government shifted policy heavily toward export-led growth, a strategy to overcome the limits of a small domestic market through external demand. They built an export-oriented economy exceeding 40% of GDP. The nation and households invested intensively in education. Public and private spending combined maintained over 5% of GDP for decades, ranking among the highest in the OECD. University enrollment rates reached world-leading levels, producing massive numbers of highly skilled workers. The economic history of the past 50 years proves this. This isn't speculation. This is data-driven analysis, and this is understandable. The numbers tell the story. The policies tell the story. Now you can understand South Korea's economic miracle. Today, let me show you the data. In 1953, the Korean War ended, but what remained in South Korea was ruins. In the early 1950s, per capita income ranked among the world's lowest. Industrial infrastructure barely existed, and agriculture dominated the economy. Roughly 40% of the population lived in absolute poverty. At the time, the North retained Japanese colonial-era industrial zones and was viewed as relatively stronger economically. From this situation, South Korea's miracle begins. The South Korean government made strategic decisions about how to use limited resources. In the 1960s, the government selectively supported companies and industries based on performance metrics like export results, policy finance, tax incentives, regulations. Through development finance and export incentives, they allocated resources based on export target achievement. Under this selective support, major companies like Samsung, Hyundai, LG, SK, and Lotte grew rapidly. This formed what became known as the Big Five chaebols. This concentration strategy enabled rapid entry into global markets. South Korea's population is roughly 50 million. The domestic market was limited. In the 1960s, the government shifted policy heavily toward export-led growth, a strategy making external demand the growth engine. Export volumes surged from the 1970s onward. By the 2020s, South Korea's exports exceeded $600 billion. This represents over 40% of GDP. Major exports include semiconductors, automobiles, shipbuilding, and electronics. Corporate strategies premised on global market competition became the foundation of South Korea's economy. South Korea invested continuously in education. Government and households combined have maintained over 5% of GDP for decades. This ranks among the highest in OECD nations. University enrollment rates are world-leading. They particularly emphasized investment in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This sustained educational investment supplied massive numbers of workers supporting high-tech industries, semiconductors, IT, shipbuilding. South Korea continues producing talent capable of competing globally in these industries. However, this intense focus on education has also produced a new challenge: the world's lowest birth rate. The chaebols achieved success in global markets. Samsung competes for the top spot in global semiconductor sales. Particularly in memory, they command over 40% market share. Currently, South Korean companies dominate over 90% of the HBM market, the high-performance memory essential for the AI era. Hyundai Motor Group ranks among the world's largest, with annual sales around 8 million vehicles. South Korea's shipbuilding industry occupies top global positions by order volume. Particularly in high-value sectors like LNG carriers, they hold leading positions. LG ranks among global leaders in home appliances and displays. These companies' global strategies drive South Korea's economy. South Korea dominates the world, culturally, as well. In the 2020s, South Korea's content exports exceeded $10 billion. BTS commands worldwide popularity, with group-related sales reaching hundreds of millions of dollars annually. The film Parasite won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2020. The drama Squid Game became Netflix's biggest hit ever. K-pop and dramas heighten interest in South Korean products. Culture generates economic ripple effects as well. Now, let's synthesize today's analysis. Here's what this all means. First, selective concentration. The South Korean government selectively supported companies and industries through policy finance and tax incentives based on performance metrics like export results. In the 1960s, they shifted policy heavily toward export-led growth, building an export-oriented economy exceeding 40% of GDP. Second, sustained investment in education. Public and private spending combined maintained over 5% of GDP, ranking among the highest in the OECD. Focused investment in STEM fields continues supplying massive numbers of highly skilled workers. However, this intense focus on education has produced a cost, the world's lowest birth rate of 0.72 in 2023. Third, global expansion. Samsung and South Korean companies command over 40% of memory semiconductors and over 90% of the HBM market crucial for the AI era. They also rank among global leaders in shipbuilding and smartphones. Furthermore, Korean wave content like BTS and Squid Game generates over $10 billion in annual exports. South Korea has established a global presence in both economic and cultural spheres. Meanwhile, they face structural challenges, including semiconductor market volatility and issues in housing and labor markets. If your country aims for economic development, what can you learn from South Korea's strategy? Concentrate limited resources, invest continuously in education, and compete in global markets. This was South Korea's choice. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Understanding global economic development means thinking about your own future. This channel analyzes each nation's economic strategies through data and logic. Subscribe and join me next time as we explore the truth about the global economy. I'll see you in the next deep dive.